The Ghoul. Ken Kaneki is a very controversial killer in Dead by Daylight. Even though after multiple nerfs, bugs and techs being removed, and lots of counterplay being discovered, people seem to still believe Kaneki is overpowered, unhealthy for the game, and overall a problem. However, there's also a lot of people who believe that he's not that unhealthy and isn't overpowered, but just needs a couple changes to make him feel a lot better for both sides. And I have to say I agree. Hi Kosu, I'm Psychosu. I'm a P100 ghoul mate. Don't leave. Don't leave. Wait. Let me speak first. Thank you. I've been playing him since his PTB. Tokyo Ghoul was my dream chapter. Kaneki being my dream character, regardless of if it was as a killer or survivor, regardless of if he was weak or strong. That being said, his grappling hook playstyle was also something I always wanted in DBD. Those two factors being combined led me to fully dedicate to him being my main character. It was not because he was strong or quote-unquote uncounterable. It was simply out of love for the series it came from, and love for the playstyle his kit was built around. Now that I put my reasons on the table, let me put this next part bluntly. A lot of the hate towards him is forced. There's a lot of discussion on Twitter regarding the ghoul's strengths and health for the game, and a lot of what I've seen within negative comments from people is they simply don't try to understand the character, or don't understand the terminology the character uses, or are just playing bad, or making bad choices. But they don't realize it, or want to admit it. So they blame it on the killer instead of accepting that they could have done something different. But a very common thing I notice with these players is that they don't actually know what they want done with the character, which shows that there might not be that much wrong with him. If people are only complaining, but don't have the ability to say what they're complaining about, then what does that show? It's always a mixed bag, different answers every time. It's either the auto aim, the speed, the distance for hits, or weirdly enough, the cutoffs, which I can't fathom why someone would complain about those. Those are one of the most skillful things a ghoul can do. It's like complaining about artists landing slingshots or Wesker hitting hug techs. But I'm not here to just complain about Twitter users. That's boring. Not my style. However, I do want to share what I, someone who plays the character a lot, thinks the character actually needs instead of just throwing random nerfs at him until he's gutted and unplayable, like what happened with Skull Merchant. I also want to talk about some misunderstandings of the character, things people say but don't actually know the specifics of, or if they're even still in the game in the first place. But before I get into it, on my last video, only 2.4% of you were subscribed. If you like my content or want to discuss more about it, hit subscribe, leave a like, comment your thoughts on the video. I want to advocate for different takes and fair discussion over a constant spewing of words at each other. If you want to have more of a conversation with me, check out my Twitch. I stream over there often and would love to have more conversations with people in the community. Alright, sorry for the plug. Back to the video. So the issues with Kaneki, as someone who plays him mainly, but has faced him on many occasions whenever I play Survivor, his vault ability, his add-ons, and the bite distance. Those are his problems. Everything else is for the most part fine. I still think I will bring up issues with certain mechanics, but in terms of power design, those are what I think his primary issues are. Starting with his vault, remove it. Just get it out of here. I don't mean like gut it, like make it weaker, like or remove the speed increase with Enraged. No, just remove the vaulting mechanic entirely. The ghoul doesn't need the vault as part of his kit at all. It needlessly lowers his skill floor by making looping him a lot more unsafe and almost too punishing. But not only that, it actively makes playing at higher skill levels more clunky due to the way that the vault is triggered. Higher skill level ghouls go for more cutoffs, prompt steals, or just breaking the pallet. Higher end survivors can punish Ghoul's vault by knowing the closest tile or taking the quickest loop back around, since the Ghoul will then be on cooldown and won't be able to vault again in time. And there's also chances for when he does go for a cutoff that some weird angle makes him just vault the pallet anyway. And windows too. It's simply a mechanic that punishes lower end survivors but rewards lower end ghouls, but reverse in the higher end. So I say cut it out of his kit entirely. If not that, then here's an alternative. Make it so vaulting can only happen on the second leap onward, and make re-vaulting a base kit mechanic similar to how sometime after Knight's release, players found out you could distract the guards by tapping a vaultable window or pallet, and behavior soon after that added a visual indicator for it. So during Kaneki's animation, make him glow white for the time that the survivor could vault through him, or do some kind of red wispy effect like how Knight has a green wispy effect on the palette or window. Something to indicate an available revault. Making a player found counterplay to an already obnoxious ability not only benefits the people who have already gotten the hang of it, but helps the players who haven't yet learn how it works, without them needing to go out and search for answers elsewhere. Next, rework his add-ons, and by this I mean primarily rework Yamori's Mask and Red-Headed Centipede. Ever since the beginning of Ghoul's inclusion to the game, these add-ons have run rampant in being obnoxious and making the character generally easier, because he has what is effectively 2 extra perk slots, for 2 perks that specifically benefit his kit. With those 2 reworked, I would then make Kaneki's Satchel base kit. This would make his more high-end playstyles more incentivized by giving his third leap a better benefit besides just being a third leap. And for being generous here, Coffee could also be base kit. But I don't think it's that necessary because he's already fast and Coffee might make him a little too easy if made base kit. For the rest of his add-ons, I would say just do a full pass on them. Most of them do nothing or do nothing. Not a soul out there is running Motto's glove or getting value out of it. And if his add-ons were more interesting and didn't solely affect Enraged and actually did more for his leaps or added variety to his physics or mechanics, then Kaneki would automatically be way more interesting to face, because then you could play him in so many more different ways. So to put it shortly, Mask and Centipede get taken out back, Satchel made base kit, Coffee kept as is, and the rest of the add-ons should just get completely redone for the sake of variety. Not focused around Enraged mode. Now for his auto-aim, or as I like to refer to it as the sticky aim. I know it's already effectively removed as of the 9.5.0 release, but actually remove it. It's pointless. No other killer has auto-aim besides Singularity, and Singularity is also a problem. It's another aspect of his kit that feels tacked on for the sake of making him beginner-friendly, but it actively lowers the chances of new players being better at other killers when they decide to change it up. Lastly, for nerfs, I would like it if they separated the bite and leap distances and make bite distance lower, probably around 6 or 8 meters. This would make it so not only does the Ghoul have to get closer to initiate an injury, but also lessens the hit through wall or hit through across the map feeling the character currently has, which I personally never thought was an issue, since that's just kind of how hit scan works in most games, but most people complain about it a lot. I find it more often than not to just be the game's netcode and servers, especially in NA servers, to be not the greatest. If they fixed up the servers for those regions a little bit better, then honestly a lot of issues with Kaneki's bite attack would probably be resolved. Now, in terms of what I don't find to be a problem for the character, and probably wouldn't change it, I don't think his 2-second downtime post-leap is an issue. If it got raised, it would make cutoffs and prompt steals a lot less valuable and would actually further incentivize going for vaults and just brainlessly vaulting every pallet, every tile, every window, and not really putting more thought into the character to get actually skillful plays, because there's simply too much time to get punished for it. Avoiding making the character more brainless to do well is the end goal with this change to him. As a matter of fact, I think most of his cooldowns are fine. 8 to 9 seconds is plenty of time to find another pallet or tile to run to. I think general players just need to understand the value of pallets more outside of pre-dropping and running, because it will make overall matches against other killers besides Kaneki a lot smoother as well. And for things I would buff, I would revert his maximum leap distance to 16 meters. Nerfing it didn't help survivors deal with him at all, it just made playing him in any skill level more clunky feeling. Lower the minimum distance to 2.5 meters. 5 meters makes most tiles hard to deal with, because sometimes you'll bump into something and you just will be too close to a wall to leap, and it just screws over the whole ideal play. Please! Minimum leap needs to die. The minimum leap distance needs to get, destroyed and turned into mush. He's gonna have DS. And that's it. That's all the buffs he needs. I think otherwise he'd be fine. Fixing his bugs should be the biggest priority, though. In terms of animation bugs and audio bugs, fixing those would work wonders for the character as he is now. His animations are a core part of his gameplay and need to be fixed in order for proper counterplay and fair matches to continue with the character. Remember to always report bugs through DBD's Discord, which sends it directly to their beta hub, where you can track the bug status on if it's under review, being fixed, or fixed in an upcoming update, or if it's not even a bug in the first place. Now for this next and probably last section of the video, the misunderstandings of the Ghoul. A lot of people outside of his player sphere throw around terminology they don't know the meaning of, and I wanted to take this second to explain them. Cutoffs are when Kaneki uses his leaps to catch the survivor where they're headed, blocking them from their desired path, which can typically be countered by paying attention to Kaneki's reticle. Cutoffs are not when Kaneki cancels his power without using all 3 leaps or sliding. Kidnap tech is no longer possible, but it was a bug that allowed him to hold survivors in place while vaulting, leading to entirely unavoidable hits or downs, with minimal cooldown afterwards. Kidnap tech is not basic vaulting or blocking a survivor using the Kagane swipe ability. Prompt steals are when Kaneki uses the Kagane swipe ability to incapacitate a survivor briefly and block them from using a vault or pallet drop prompt. It's stealing the prompt from the survivor. Slingshots are when Kaneki leaps once and then leaps while still mid-air to carry his momentum forward into his second leap, propelling him forward just a lot faster. There we go.
Oh. Holy shit.
This next one is primarily because of a commenter on my last video, but the claim that Kaneki hasn't been nerfed is just objectively wrong. Patch 8.6.2, leap distance, countdown duration, perfect grab time additions were all reduced, and then Kaneki got a token removal for breaking pallets, something I think the Blight should have gotten first. In 8.7.0, hinder duration while performing a Kagane vault was halved. In patch 9.2.0, survivors are now released at the start of Kaneki's vault instead of after. However, this removed kidnap tech and was a very good nerf. In patch 9.4.2, leap null, a tech that allowed Kaneki to continue leaping after vaulting if he timed pressing the vault prompt early enough into his leap, was removed. And in the next patch, 9.5.0, Kaneki's reticle stickiness has been effectively removed. It's just reduced really low, but it doesn't feel like it's there at all anymore, which is good. That's something I wanted. And all of this is within a year of his release. To say he hasn't been nerfed at all since release is just untrue and shows a lack of attention but a want to hate. Find an actual reason to dislike something instead of just being stuck in past arguments that have already been resolved, because it doesn't help any figuring out what's wrong with the character in the modern updates. Also, no, Kaneki's bugs is not an excuse to claim his power is unhealthy for the game. Those are bugs, not his main kit. And Kaneki's animations, where his Kagane disappears briefly, becoming a puff of red smoke for a moment, is not a bug, and it's not considered as him using his power or anything that would put him on cooldown. That plays when the game is trying to tell the killer that they cannot leap to where they are aiming. A lot of content creators make videos about other killers like Kaneki, but don't play them or actually understand their kit or terminology, and this has begun to truly harm the public image of some killers or updates to killers as it spreads misinformation or misunderstandings about the character. So I can't blame people for getting a lot of things about Kaneki wrong, but all I can really say is form your own opinions and learn more about the character, either by playing them for more than like 10 matches, because you're only going to go against baby survivors if you do that, or by talking to people who do play and care about the character. Talking to people who actually know what they're talking about is important to get a wider grasp of the game, and helps you pinpoint changes the game needs and not the changes that benefit poor skill. A lot of the problems I see people have with Ghoul are more often than not purely because they just don't know what to do or refuse to try anything else. If not that, then it's his bugs, which need to be fixed, and I agree. He has his issues, but his issues are more specifically his vault and his add-ons. I think if you just fix those two things, Kaneki would become one of the most fun for both sides killer available to the roster right now. This on top of reworking a lot of perks that benefit tunneling or weakening top of the list killers to make it so lower ends could get access to better perks and better buffs would be amazing for the game overall and would make it more fun for all players and help the future of the game's balance. I wanted this video to be shorter than the last one, but this still feels like it's going to be kinda long, but what can I say? I yap a lot, I'm sorry. However, one last reminder to check out my Twitch, hit subscribe. On the last video, someone said I should be part of the creator program. That made me happy that someone thought that, so let's see if we can make that happen someday. Until next time, I'm Psychosu, and goodbye, Kosu.